Our next speaker is the amazing, talented Cheryl Thacker. And I want to invite her to the stage. And I am going to spotlight you. Cheryl, you are a co-host, so you should be able to share your screen. So welcome.
Thank you, Haley, and happy birthday.
Thank you.
It's so happy to be here on your special day. That's really cool.
Thank you.
I'm going to share my screen, and I'm not going to put it in presentation mode. I'm just going to, well, if it lets me. Oh, there we go. I'll just keep it like that. Okay, so I'm Cheryl Thacker, and I'm a Master Board Certified Coach. I'm also certified in EQI, which is emotional intelligence. And today I'm going to talk about emotional intelligence and resiliency for success in life and business. Some of the key takeaways from today are to explore the role of emotional intelligence in success for life and business, and also developing resiliency. To learn the language so you can go to work on it. Explore how micro resolutions can help clients develop and expand on emotional intelligence and become more resilient. So this talk is really for either those that want to increase their own emotional intelligence to increase their success, or for you to help your clients become more emotional intelligent. That would really look at what you do for your clients and think about which side of the coin you are on this. But it works on both sides. You can help people develop it, and you can help develop your own as well. So what is emotional intelligence? It's a set of emotional and social skills that collectively establish how well we perceive ourselves, how we express ourselves, how we develop and maintain social relationships, how we cope with challenges, and how we use emotional information in an effective and meaningful way. So as entrepreneurs and business owners, this is perfect for helping us to manage our day-to-day business activities and lives, and coping with clients and challenges that come up into our, in our businesses, things that happen on a daily basis, as well as things that can happen, the occasional forest fires that can come up as well. And when we are able to have strong emotional intelligence, developed emotional intelligence, we're able to become more resilient. And no matter where you are on the spectrum of emotional intelligence, you can always increase it. It's not the same as, say, IQ, where you're at it, you're there, you have a number, you're on a scale, you can't move it too much. Emotional intelligence can consistently be developed. And we actually do that from when we are children and growing up into our teenage years. And then, of course, into adulthood, we get to be more focused in on it. However, we do originally kind of have a propensity towards being empathetic or sympathetic in general. People tie emotional intelligence with empathy a lot, because empathy just allows you to put yourself in another person's shoes. And if you can manage that, if you can increase your empathy, that basically can create a lot of success in all different areas of life and business. So emotional intelligence is a predictor of how resilient we are and how successful we're going to be in life and our work and our businesses. So it's really important to look at where we are on the scale and how it impacts our life and business now, and how we can really increase it to help us to be more successful. Oh, sorry. So EQI 2.0 is actually an assessment that, again, I'm certified in. It just assesses the strengths and blind spots that we might have in our emotional intelligence. And it's a predictable way to measure where we are now as far as emotional and social functioning. So how we, socialize, again, in a work environment or a personal environment, and then how we can really increase it to do better in those areas. It's also a way to develop how effective we can be to improve our performance and our resilience. So this is just one assessment. There's a ton out there of EQI assessments or EIQ assessments. You'll see them labeled either way. And we want to, you can go ahead and look at different assessments out there. You want to make sure it's one that's that has good reviews, that it's not, there are some out there that are just kind of low quality and just give you kind of surface level information, don't really do much for you. But this is the one that I recommend. Obviously, I did some research to decide which one I wanted to get certified in. So there's different things to look at in this model. It measures 5 specific areas, and that's self-perception, how we understand our own emotions, self-expression, how we express those emotions, interpersonal, so how we develop and maintain our relationships, decision-making, so how we use emotions to make better decisions, and stress management, how we cope with challenges. And the decision-making, I'm sure that as entrepreneurs and business owners, we know that buying, sales is an emotional transaction, right? We exchange energy around emotions when we make a sale. And everything leading up to that sale as well, when we're building up that rapport, trust, and intimacy. So decision-making, again, goes for us making our decisions, but also when we look at it from a business standpoint, how we can help our clients or know the cycle of emotions that our clients go through before they actually make a buying decision. So self-perception has these qualities to it. Self-regard, so how we review, regard ourselves. What do we think about ourselves, our confidence, our self-esteem? It looks at self-actualization. So how do we continually develop? What do we do to improve? What can we do to improve? And emotional self-awareness, just understanding our emotions, how we react to them, what our trigger points are, where we have to work on having some more control, things along those lines. Self-expression is the second one there, and it's all about how we say how we feel. And if you've ever had a relationship where you're not communicating very well, you can sometimes pinpoint it to, we're not really sharing our feelings. We don't know what the other person is feeling. We don't know what they're going through in that moment. And then we do it ourselves as well. We shut off sometimes of our emotions, and we're not able to express it, or we don't express it clearly. And that can create confusion. It can create communication problems. And not only in our relationships, but also in our messaging, our marketing messaging, our business, our unique proposition messaging. It really flows through almost everything that we do in life, that emotional expression. And then it also looks at assertiveness. So how do we stand up for ourselves effectively, and not with an emotional response? And what I mean by that is not an overly emotional response. So how do we really assert and stand up for ourselves in an effective way that is respectful for ourselves, respectful to others, and allows us really to be confident, more confident in what we do. And then independence, just standing up on our own 2 feet, being able to, take care of ourselves in certain situations, being able to go to networking events or participate in events where we're able to be confident and secure in ourselves and how we're expressing ourselves. And in this, something like this, in a summit, how do we express ourselves? How are we independent? We're not relying on the other people in our group here to help us get our point across. Of course, there's support there, but just being able to stand up on our own 2 feet and show up for ourselves. These are important for self-expression. And then interpersonal, it has basically the relationships that we have in our life, whether that's kids, romantic relationships, friendships, all kinds of interpersonal relationships. It's how we develop them. How do we maintain those good relationships? What do we do there that needs to be improved? And then also, again, think about from the business perspective, how are we developing and maintaining A prospect pool. How are we developing and maintaining our groups, our Facebook groups or our networking groups, whatever it is for you and your business. And then empathy, I touched on this a little bit earlier, but just recognizing and appreciating how others feel, and expressing that as well, learning how to express empathy without kind of either overdoing it or underdoing it. So kind of just getting a good even keel of how to be empathetic for others that's supportive and appreciative, again, without becoming enmeshed in that empathy or in their situation, but also just to be more, to develop more relationships. And then social responsibility. How do we contribute to society as a whole? And then our individual, like micro societies. For instance, the WEN group is a society, right? It's a business society. We all are entrepreneurs and business owners, and we're in there, and we have a certain responsibility to that group. In this case, it might just be following the rules, being supportive. It depends on the situation. But also your community, your where you live, that community is a society. It's a micro society. And what are your responsibilities in that community? What are your responsibilities to your family, which is your own inner community? So lots of different ways to look at social responsibility, and especially in this day and age, where we've had this, the COVID this whole year. People look at how are some contributing to our society in a positive way. If you look at the United States, for example, and you compare us to other countries, what are the things that people are doing to contribute to their society, to keep it safe, to keep us positive, if that's possible, moving forward. So lots of things to consider for interpersonal. And then decision making is pretty big. Emotional intelligence will define how we effectively manage our emotions when we're trying to solve problems. And that's kind of easy to think about. I think if you look at, if you're really angry at something or someone and you're trying to resolve something, it gets really hard to do, right? Your brain is kind of going quick. Your emotions are overcoming you. Maybe me, when I get angry, I actually cry. So that's my reaction to anger. So I'm not always the best at decision making when I'm in that mode. So I had to work on that. And it's something that we can do. We can improve how we manage our emotions, and that will help us to solve our problems quicker and easier. Reality testing is basically seeing things as they really are. So not putting that cloud over, just really getting crystal clear what is going on around us, what is the reality of it, instead of what we want it to be or what we think it might be. We really want to do some testing to make sure that things are as they seem. And then impulse control, the ability to resist or delay impulses. Again, if you get angry or you get, we'll start with anger. If you get angry, how do you react to that anger? So reaction is a lot about that, has a lot to do with that impulse control. Are you a person that, and this is just an extreme, like punches a wall when you get angry? That's obviously not very effective. And we want to be able to delay those impulses, which is like the beat between how you feel and how you act. So that reaction, and you want to expand that time, that delay in between how you feel and how you act or react to it. So EIQ can help you with that. It can help you see where you are with impulse control, and then see where you want to be, and then how do you fill that gap, so that you're making better decisions in those moments where impulse control might not be at its best. And then stress management, just basically being able to be flexible, being able to adapt to change effectively, flexible in any situations, flexible when things are, bad happen, or things that don't go your way, or disappointments. It doesn't have to be anything major either. It can be just the little things that kind of can wear us down sometimes. And being able to be flexible actually helps us to overcome those things much quicker and easier. And then also stress tolerance. So just being able to cope with stressful situations, make good decisions in those situations, and change them, right? To actually take the stress away and feel more at peace. And then optimism, having a positive outlook, which usually is tied to not having too much stress. When we have too much stress, it actually takes our optimism down. So if we're able to manage that, then we're able to have a better and positive outlook. Okay, and then let's see. I'm coming up fast here. Okay, so indicators of happiness. Just feeling satisfied, enjoying life, contributing to our overall well-being. These are indicators of happiness. And from our looking into and developing our emotional intelligence, we're able to see where we are now in emotional and social function. We're able to explore the language and get really clear on the terms for effective communication. We're able to form questions that focus on the specific elements shown as needing growth. And then we're able to come up with a plan to increase our emotional intelligence. So I just want to give you a quick case study. A client, we'll call him Jerry, he scored high in assertiveness, which is one of the main pieces of emotional intelligence, but he had problems in social interactions and he wasn't sure why. So through the assessment, we were able to explore specific questions on how he expresses himself, how he made people feel, and how they were reacting to him in social situations. And that awareness, we were able to create a plan on how to overcome and be too assertive. The end result was that he was too assertive and he was making people around him feel uncomfortable. But he didn't know that until we were able to go through this assessment and really look at the pieces that made up that assertiveness. So sometimes it's not good to score really high in areas. Sometimes you want more of a balanced outcome. So how do we develop resiliency or resilience and increase our resiliency? We coach around emotional intelligence, and there's a lot of people that do it out there. There's a lot of sites out there that have information about emotional intelligence. But basically, we're looking at identifying and bringing awareness around patterns, triggers, habits, fears, mindset, and the impact of things happening around you. Then you can actually, again, see where the gap is, see where you are now, see where you want to be, and you can come up with a plan to increase that or fill the gap, but increase your emotional intelligence around it. Just as a resource, Changing Habits with Small Behavioral Changes. Small Move, Big Change by Carolyn Arnold. Great book. Talks about micro resolutions around how do we change habits, these small kind of habits that make up bigger issues, like negative habits or habits that are just not serving us. How do we do that and be successful? Those micro resolutions are typically around emotional intelligence and how we can increase our emotional intelligence. Okay. So some benefits. It's tough to have inner strength and to be a strong leader without a healthy, balanced EQ. So when we work on increasing and balancing it, we're able to become more effective. We're able to view ourselves and change where we are now and where we want to be. We gain awareness around what influences our choices and behaviors. We're able to overcome fears quicker and easier. And then we gain awareness around what influences our choices and helps us to see, explore, and understand those around us and how they impact our environment negatively and positively. It sets us up for success in building inner strength and resiliency. So to close, emotional intelligence, as discussed here, reflects our overall well-being, happiness, and the ability to succeed in life. It isn't the sole predictor of human performance, but it is proven to be a key indicator. And coaching is an integral part of assessing and developing emotional intelligence and resiliency. So I actually do these assessments if anyone's interested in that. And I also do the coaching around the results. And you can reach me at successfulcoaches.com is my website. My email is Coach Cheryl at successfulcoaches.com. And you can always set up a free consult with me at successfulcoaches.com /consult or /consult. And that's it. So thank you guys very much. If you have questions about emotional intelligence, I welcome them. You can put them into the comments from our summit. Again, you can email me or even message me on Facebook. I'd be glad to have a discussion with you on it. So thank you guys very much.
Cool. Thank you so much, Cheryl. This was very helpful and informative. I appreciate it. Everybody give her a round of applause. We do the round in the Boy Scout way. So glad to have you here. Our